So I was just notified that I've got 30 days to find Carolyn and her son proper shelter, proper housing, and proper utilities, or legal action will be taken against me. I find this just absolutely crazy. I thought we still lived in the United States somewhat, but apparently, no. We went back to 1950s Russia. I don't quite understand this. I mean, when I think about Carolyn's history, I feel like that she was mistreated more back then than she is now. I mean, that's the accusation, is this is abuse. This type of lifestyle is abusive, and that she deserves better, that she's too old to be living this way. Now, she's not even 62 yet. She'll turn 62 this year, and she is considering, I think this year, don't quote me, I think she's considering getting Social Security this year. Now, I know a lot of people are going to advocate that she wait, but I think that's what she's going to do. And of course, she's thought about it a lot. So she's not even at retirement age yet, but doing this is abusive to elderly people who are not elderly. As a matter of fact, I think a lot of people work well into their 70s. My dad, he just retired maybe 2 years ago, and he was 68, 67, 68, somewhere around there. And he was working nearly 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. He worked as a campsite host manager. And so he lived just a quarter mile or a half a mile maybe from his job site. He was always on call, and he would have to come in at all hours of the night, fix problems with RVs. I just find it strange that Carolyn is considered elderly, and she's 40. I mean, we just as well put her in a nursing home, I guess. Not many people have met Carolyn. She showed up on a video years ago. Every now and then, you'll see her in the background. I try to edit her out as much as possible. She doesn't want to be on camera. So it's not like you've really met her, you know what kind of shape she's in. She's actually gotten a lot better shape over the years than she was in the past. I mean, when we think about her past, she was working just as many hours as I was. There was one Memorial Day weekend or Labor Day weekend or something. So the week, we worked almost 90 hours that week because we had to set up over the weekend. We had to set up for a big job that was going to start that Tuesday. So we went in, we had to set it up, we had to schedule the lines. So she worked nonstop like I did. It was a stressful job too. There was nothing unstressful about it. So we ate very poorly. We'd ate Chinese food probably 5 times a week, and Emo's Pizza at least once a week. And not just like a pizza, we'd get 2 large pizzas. And that would be our supper. We'd eat a sandwich for lunch. Her anxiety was really bad back then. And now we know why. Her and I have done nothing but try to help her anxiety decrease over time. And so we've gotten a better diet. We're on a carnivorous diet now, which we know from a lot of studies that carnivorous diet helps with depression and anxiety, actually cures it in a lot of cases. Whereas all these carbohydrates that we were eating was poisoning her brain. She's healthier mentally, and then her back, she was just about down on her back all the time. And when she'd have a back flare-up, she'd be out for 2 weeks, but she wouldn't quit work. I remember she would go to work, and one time our safety officer told her to go home. She said, I can't go home, I gotta work. So he got a wheelchair and made her sit in a wheelchair all day. And she would try to stretch her back on a stack of pallets. She'd lay down on a stack of pallets, try to stretch her back. That's what she would do just to get through the day. And now, she was complaining about backache the other day, 2 days ago? She was building this shed, as a matter of fact. And she overexerted herself. And so, I don't know, it was 6, 7 o'clock in the evening. She said, boy, my back hurts. And she laid down. And so I figured, you know what, I'm gonna do the dishes for her, because she refuses to let me do dishes. So I didn't ask, I just did them. That is one of her chores, and she gets kind of upset with me when I take away her chores, because she feels like, oh, you're just treating me like an old woman. I want to be able to take care of things also. So that's why she wants to build the shed. And so her back was hurting. But the next day, she was up and about again. There was no 2-week downtime. And again, I attribute that to a carnivorous diet. And then, you know, her past relationship was pretty hectic. I mean, I don't want to get into it pretty bad, but he was a drinker, and it just a lot of problems. And so here, we hardly ever fight. And if it is, you know, we have this little spout, we spout off real quick, and then we get over it. I tell you, this is the best marriage I've ever been in, because we don't fight. It's just so peaceful and relaxing. So I feel like that her previous life was pretty hard on her. She's got 3 kids, and one of them is with us right now, which is just, I mean, think about that. One of her kids is having some problems with his marriage, and so he's staying with us, and we're trying to provide him with as much creature comforts as possible. We got him a camper. I mean, it's a little primitive, but it's a camper. It's got a shower in it, got a sink. We got him electricity. He doesn't seem to need a lot of electricity. We figured out how to get air conditioning run to him. Now today, we'd have to run the generator, so I mean, it's going to cost him a little bit of money, but on a very clear day like it was a couple hours ago, the solar panels can keep up with that air conditioner just fine. Has all the water he needs, and he's got everything he needs. I feel like that in the past, when Carolyn was working all those hours, she wasn't making a lot of money, that she would not have been able to help her son. But here we can help because we live primitively. We don't have a lot of expenses, so we were able to save enough money that when it was time to get a camper, okay, we just went out and got one. Now, we would have liked to have gotten a better one, but we were kind of on a time crunch. We had planned on getting one a little smaller, parking it down here underneath the tree line. It would have been really cute, but he needed someplace to live, so we found one, went and got it. Well, actually, the guy brought it over to us and set it up. And just got it hooked up as fast as we could. If we'd have been working like we were, we'd have never been able to get that camper. I remember when we wanted to start out our lives as nomads, I went out and bought a pop-up camper, and I just wanted to work on it on the weekends, and I never had time to work on it. I feel like the past life was abusive, and you don't get any sleep, and you're just constantly anxious, and the boss calls you at midnight, says, oh, you had a customer reject. You know, that's very stressful. And here, there's just no stress. But apparently, asking Carolyn to deal with the heat, which is interesting. I find that interesting, dealing with the heat. We've dealt with the heat for a very long time. When we were nomads, we didn't have air conditioning. And Carolyn didn't run the air conditioning much when we had central air. She didn't like it, thought it was too expensive. But here, it's apparently abusive not to have air conditioning. I mean, it's only 80 degrees today. Think about this. In the wintertime, we used a wood stove, and there are times when I accidentally put too much firewood in the wood stove, and it gets up close to 90 degrees. No one can accuse me of abuse then. It's like, oh man, you're staying warm, but now it's 80 degrees. Oh, it's abuse. So we got 30-day notice, got to get her out of there, got to get her air conditioning. But the thing is she didn't want air conditioning. We had air conditioning in this camper. We're going to tear this camper down, that's why it's all trashed up. But right there, you might see that panel behind the leaves. So we took that air conditioning and put it in the camper for her son, so he could have air conditioning. And we're running it off solar panels. So it's not like we can't have air conditioning. She just chooses not to. And as a matter of fact, I've decided that since now we figured out how to run the air conditioner, that when he moves, I might just take that air conditioner out of the camper and put it in the house. Now, she suggested, why don't we just leave it in the camper? Because she wants to use that camper as kind of like a prayer room, or maybe do some cooking in, or just whatever, or exercise room. And which I don't know why she wants an exercise room. She gets plenty of exercise. That's beside the point. So she can just turn on the air conditioner in there when she wants to. I don't know, maybe we'll have an air conditioner in both spots. It doesn't matter. But the nice thing is we can run an air conditioner, so it's not like it's impossible. It's just a choice that we don't want one. Then another one that is just always a big complaint is Carolyn doesn't have a wash machine and dryer. She's got those 2 sinks up there, and she plunges the laundry with a toilet plunger in these sinks. In the wintertime, she sits in the house with a bucket of hot water, and she plunges in the bucket. That's what we did as nomads. I've asked her a million times, do you want to wash? And she constantly says no. I would go out tomorrow and get one. And the thing is when I say this in the video, that she doesn't want to wash her, people will write in the comment section, well, there's these little bitty ones that, like a single piece of clothing ones that you can use, and they'll list off millions of different things that I should do for Carolyn, even though she has said she doesn't want one. So that tells me that society can't grasp this idea that you can live without a wash machine. Society has determined that these are the rules of the road. If you're going to be married, your husband is required to buy you a wash machine and dryer. That is like the basic minimum requirements. And when I say that she doesn't want one, it's just not believable. I told you about a trespasser. I've even suggested to her that we buy these little apartment size wash machine. I had one before. It fits in the bathroom. You hook it up to the sink for the water. You put the drain hose in the tank of the toilet, And so when it drains into the tank, and then that water overflows into the bowl. I think we could actually run that off generators and or solar panels. So if it was a sunny day, I'm sure we could run it. She just doesn't want one. And those are pretty cheap. I'm not understanding why a person who feels comfortable with what they're doing is being abused if they're doing what they want to do. It makes no sense. It's like if a person wanted to go and live in the outback of Alaska, out there in the wilderness with the bears, that is somehow the husband's responsibility to say, no, lady, you can't do it. But then we live in a society that if a husband says, no, lady, you can't do it, then the husband is a bad person. So it really is just a slam in the face either way. Darn if you do, darn if you don't. And now the other thing she does is she cooks outside. We built a tiny house. The one requirement she had about the tiny house was she wanted the kitchen outside. Now originally we thought about getting a full-size stove. And we still may one of these days. I don't know. Every time we talk about it, think about it, it's talked about for like 30 seconds and then we never speak of it again. So we have this little Coleman cook stove type of thing. And she cooks on it. It's got 2 burners. Actually, it's got 3 burners. A lot of folks still tell me that she needs an oven. But she has this whole setup that she uses firewood for as an oven. So if she wants to bake something, she can bake it. And she's baked things before. She's made pizza in these little setups that she's got. Homemade pizza. Of course, we're carnivores now, so we don't eat crust. And the thing is there's nothing so pressing in this life that she has to do it right now. With her son being here, we've been kind of busy trying to get him squared away and helping him out wherever we can. Of course, his car doesn't run very well. So when he needs to go to town for an appointment, or he's trying to get everything squared away, we'll take him to town. So it's been pretty difficult on us to get things done around here, making videos or doing the laundry. So she had a whole stack of laundry that got behind with all this, and she also wanted to work on the shed, and she wanted to work on the chicken run, all at the same time. So what she would do is she'd come down and work on the shed for a couple hours in the morning when it was cooler, go up underneath the shade trees, do some laundry for a couple hours until she got a little too hot outside, and then she'd go down and work on the chicken run for a few minutes. That, she could do that over a period of time. She wasn't in a rush. But think about if she wanted to do these things and have a job. That means that she'd work 40, 60, 80, 90 hours. Then she would, on the weekend, have to build these little projects that she wants to do. Well, you're so busy and stressed that you just want to relax when you get home. And that's the thing about having a full-time job with an employer, is you work and work and work all week so you can have these fancy things. The wash machine, the dryer, the running water out of a sink, and the light switch, no solar panels, no generators. But the only reason you have these things is so you can make your life more convenient, so you can go work to pay for them. So it is a complete circle. I need a wash machine because I have a job and I don't have enough time to do laundry, so I have to do laundry on the weekends in a wash machine. See, and it's just a complete circle. You got to pay for the wash machine because you have a job. Well, here we don't need the job. We're just taking the job out of the loop. I have a YouTube channel and it doesn't make a lot of money, but it pays, the food bill and that kind of thing. The other thing that I think is really nice is I'm here at her beckoning call. There are 15 minutes out of every day that I got to sit here 15, 20 minutes and make a video. That's the only time I'm not available to her. The rest of the day, if she needs anything from me, hey Rob, can you help me? Sure. And I jump right in there and I start helping her. That's pretty nice. We still have an income. We have everything we need. We have a savings account, which neither one of us had prior to us getting together. So when her son needs a place to stay, we can buy a camper. I don't know why this is abusive, but I get this almost every summer. When the temperatures start to go up and Carolyn's out here working on a shed in the daytime sun, and isn't it just hot? I mean, that's what started this whole thing. Was I went inside this shed over here and the sun was beating down. I was saying we're going to paint the roof white so it's not so hot in there, so the solar equipment can run better. And somebody was just so irate that she was down here working in the sun building a shed and thinks that I need to give her a better life, a better house, a bigger house. And that's a big complaint, is not having a big house. So what I've been told is I have 30 days. In the comment section, somebody said this. I have 30 days to get her into an apartment with air conditioning, a washing machine and a dryer, or a house, and running water, the electric hookup, or they are going to turn me into some services. Elderly services? I don't know what it was. I didn't Google it. I didn't even know what the heck they were talking about. For elderly abuse to actually take place, it means that they're not eating and they're not being bathed and they can't take care of themselves. I could leave here and Carolyn could take care of herself just fine. She doesn't need me. I'm here for her convenience. Hey, go cut the grass. Okay. I mean, that's the way it's supposed to be. I say, if you're really going to make that kind of threat, be prepared for lawsuits. Because if you start sending people out where I got to hire lawyers, you're going to lose. I'm not doing anything illegal. We are quite happy here. We are complying with all the laws. Everything we've done, we've had permission from either the sheriff or the code inspector or whoever. The county or the town seems very happy that we've gotten the place cleaned up. They leave us alone, other than the old lady that trespassed twice. So if you click this up next box, take to a video where I was talking about these solar panels and batteries. So if I can inspire you to live free and leave everybody alone so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.